here we are. This is Sex Love Psychedelics, and I'm your host, Dr. Kat, bringing you psychosexual conversations that will leave you intellectually turned on and hungry for more.
What does it mean to feel safe in sex? Safety is the state of being that we are free from harm. The difficulty here is that safety is essentially an illusion, a belief, as well as wrapped up in the layers of these complex factors. We may not feel safe, but we are safe, as well as we might be safe, but we don't feel safe. Sound confusing? That's because it is. So, why do I say that this is more of an illusion or a belief or a state that we can, wrap ourselves in and identify in? Because we can ultimately be harmed or feel harmed even when the other person is showing up at their most present, responsive, and supportive self. A big part of this is because we might have past experiences and or trauma that impacts our perceptions of the experience. And if we have not done our internal processing work, we may project onto our partner that they are quote unquote not safe without taking the co-responsibility that there may also be our skewed reality that's being projected on here. So you are not safe can be true. Our partners may come in with these ignoring us or being self-centered or stonewalling us. All of that can be true. And most of the time, it's a misunderstanding of the inner influence of these factors, or a statement a partner might place on their partner to avoid turning inward to take responsibility of their own inner work and inner healing and trauma resolution. It's easier to put it on the other person to fix it for us than it is to take on the responsibility for ourselves. And it's way harder for us to take accountability and get curious about how we added to it or how we might have made a mistake here too. This is a team collaborative approach. So if you work with a therapist, you might be able to untangle the missed bids of affection or the parts that are trying to protect inside of us. These are protective mechanisms or behaviors that we do in order to create safety for ourselves. We might misinterpret another person's actions to think that they're trying to hurt or manipulate us or be selfish. But in reality, they just don't know how to directly communicate because they never learned how to. And instead of labeling our partner as avoidant and uncaring and not actually wanting to be with us, maybe we need to get to know what's underneath. And that's going to take patience and consistency and the devotion to really sitting in the shit, sitting in the discomfort of untangling this. On the flip side of this, you can also be the best partner, showing up in all the best techniques and all the best patience, but you cannot make a person feel safe if it isn't them also taking a role in looking at this too. Like, no one can make a person feel or do something, but they can contribute and inspire. The rest needs to be done individually as our own selves, taking accountability for the past traumas and the experiences, negative experiences that we've had. So be aware. You can not feel safe and still actually be safe. This happens all the time when we lean into the edges of what we've known ourselves to be, trying something new or novel or leaning into sex that may have been dangerous or painful for us in the past. Like, that doesn't feel safe, but with a partner who is showing up with all the best techniques, the patience, the responsiveness, the care, the interest, this is safe. But why don't we feel it? And that's when we have to recognize that the partner who's doing all these techniques, you cannot make someone feel safe. You cannot make them feel anything, technically. You can contribute to the safety. You can inspire it. You can show up still in this a way of all these techniques, and the other person can still feel unsafe. And so at that point, it's not what more you can do, or how much more love can you show, or how much can you do that. Because at some point, it really falls on the other person to also do that inner work and that trauma resolution.
Well, that was fun. Thanks for tuning in, lovers. And if you want to experience more ecstasy and sexual liberation, head over to sexlovepsychedelics.com and learn about how you can join me for any one of my online or live events. And while you're there, grab my free guide on sex and psychedelics. Remember, this podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please contact your healthcare provider and local law before pursuing any of the products or psychedelics discussed. And one final note here. I make this show specifically for you. If you're loving the show, then be sure to leave me a review in iTunes or Spotify to let me know. Happy to be here and happy to serve. I'll see you next time on Sex Love Psychedelics.